Lila adjusted the strap of her tool bag and glanced at the massive spaceport before her. The sun reflected off the polished surfaces of the shuttles, making the entire area glow like a second star. Her heart beat faster than usual, not from fear but from the weight of what lay ahead. She had worked tirelessly for years to reach this point. Assigned to a top-secret interstellar mission that would require her to work with beings she had only read about in history books and scientific archives. And yet, even with all the preparation, nothing could have prepared her for the emotional complexity that awaited. Her husband, Mark, had kissed her goodbye that morning with his usual calm composure. "Stay safe," he had said. His hand lingered on hers for a fraction longer than usual, a silent reminder that, despite their busy lives and dangerous jobs, they belonged together. Lila had smiled, nodded, and promised she would. But as she approached the boarding gate, she felt an unfamiliar knot tighten in her stomach. The gate opened with a hiss, revealing the sleek alien shuttle waiting to take her to the distant world. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, changing colors with the light. Lila stepped inside and felt the low hum of the engines vibrate through her feet. Standing at the center of the cabin was Ryan, the alien liaison assigned to accompany her. Ryan was unlike any being Lila had encountered before. He stood tall, with a graceful build and skin that seemed to faintly reflect the surrounding light. His eyes were deep, intelligent, and oddly expressive. There was an aura of authority around him, yet his manner was polite and patient. "Welcome, Engineer Lila," Ryan said, his voice smooth but firm. "I have reviewed your profile. Your skills will be invaluable for this mission." Lila nodded, trying to steady her nerves. "Thank you. I've read about your world and your technology. It's impressive." Ryan inclined his head slightly, a gesture that seemed both respectful and amused. "Impressive, perhaps, but collaboration is more important than admiration. We must act swiftly. Time is not on our side." The shuttle lifted off smoothly and Earth began to shrink beneath them. Lila gazed out the window, seeing familiar continents fade into clouds. Her mind wandered to Mark. He would be watching this departure with a mixture of pride and concern. She hoped he wouldn't worry too much. She hated to see that flicker of doubt in his eyes. As the journey progressed, Ryan briefed her on the mission. A faction on his home planet had been planning actions that could threaten interstellar peace. Lila's role was crucial. She needed to adapt human engineering to alien systems in a way that could prevent disaster. It was a responsibility that weighed heavily on her, but it also sparked excitement. She loved challenges. "You work differently from my kind," Ryan observed as he guided her through the shuttle's control interface. "Your instincts are unique. Efficient in ways our algorithms do not predict." Lila smiled faintly, feeling a strange warmth at the compliment. "We humans have a way of improvising when rules fail. I've had to do it many times in my projects." He studied her for a moment. "That may be why you were chosen. The task requires more than intelligence. It requires courage, adaptability, and resilience." The shuttle entered a high-speed trajectory that would take them to the alien planet in days. During the journey, Lila spent time studying Ryan's technology, learning the nuances of his control systems and communication methods. They shared meals and quiet conversations in the cabin, discussing everything from strategy to philosophy. Lila began to notice subtle differences in Ryan, how he valued patience, how he listened without interrupting, how his gestures were precise yet graceful. She couldn't deny that she was intrigued, but she reminded herself constantly. She was married and Mark was waiting for her. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Mark found himself in a state of restless unease. He had tried to keep busy, checking mission updates and reviewing strategy reports, but something in his gut told him that the simple goodbye at the spaceport wasn't enough. When he glimpsed encrypted communications between Lila and Ryan, his curiosity, and a shadow of worry, grew. He didn't accuse her, nor did he try to pry directly. Instead, he decided to monitor her journey carefully, trusting her but unwilling to ignore what he saw. On the shuttle, the tension was quiet but palpable. Lila worked diligently on the technical challenges, adapting alien systems to human logic. She had always been proud of her ability to solve complex problems, and now her skills were tested in ways she could never have imagined. Ryan, too, recognized her talent. "Your approach is unexpected," he said one evening. "It is effective." "You mean it works?" Lila asked, raising an eyebrow. It does, Ryan replied simply, though there was a faint hint of admiration in his tone. Despite the growing mutual respect, both remained professional. Lila felt the tug of attraction, an acknowledgement that human instincts were complicated. She thought of Mark constantly, of the life they shared, of the trust between them. Yet in moments of danger or uncertainty, she could not deny that Ryan's presence brought a sense of reassurance. He was calm under pressure, precise in his judgments, and endlessly patient with her questions and mistakes. Days passed, and the shuttle finally approached the alien planet. Lila could see its vast cities glowing under the twin suns, a mixture of technology and beauty that was both alien and mesmerizing. "We are nearly there," Ryan said. "Prepare yourself. The challenges ahead will require every skill you possess." Lila nodded, taking a deep breath. "I'm ready." Ryan's eyes softened slightly, almost imperceptibly. "I am confident in you, Lila, but remember, the choices you make here will not affect only you. They will ripple across worlds." As the shuttle descended, Lila felt her heart pound with a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. She had trained for this, dreamed of this, yet nothing could erase the emotional complexity of facing an unknown world, alongside a remarkable alien being, while knowing her husband remained unaware of the depth of their interactions. The hatch opened with a hiss, and the shuttle touched down. Lila stepped out into the alien air, warm and thick with unfamiliar scents. Towering structures surrounded her, made of materials that seemed alive, pulsing with soft light. Citizens of the planet moved gracefully, acknowledging her presence with polite nods. Ryan stayed beside her, calm and unshakable. "This is your first impression of our world," he said. "Observe, adapt, learn, and remember, our mission is of utmost importance." Lila nodded again, feeling a mixture of wonder, apprehension, and determination. She had survived countless engineering challenges on Earth, but nothing had prepared her for the complexity of emotions she felt now. Between duty, curiosity, and her own human heart, every step forward carried weight. Behind her, somewhere light years away, Mark watched a live feed of the shuttle's landing. His jaw tightened as he saw Lila step out beside Ryan. For a fleeting moment, a wave of doubt washed over him, but it was tempered by the unwavering trust he had built in their marriage. Still, he could not shake the feeling that the days ahead would test not just Lila's courage, but the strength of their bond. And so the story began on a foreign world, under twin suns where a human engineer, her devoted husband far away, and an intriguing alien collaborator would face challenges that tested their skills, their loyalty, and their hearts. The alien city stretched endlessly before Lila, a mixture of metal and living light that seemed to breathe as she walked. Towering structures curved toward the sky, reflecting colors she had never seen on Earth. The streets were quiet but alive, with citizens moving gracefully, their gestures precise and harmonious. Lila couldn't help but feel a mixture of awe and unease. This world was beautiful, yes, but it was also foreign in every way, and the responsibility of her mission weighed heavily on her shoulders. Ryan walked beside her, guiding her through the winding paths. "Observe everything," he said calmly. "The success of our mission depends on understanding the environment, the people, and the political currents. Small errors here could have large consequences." Lila nodded, feeling the weight of his words. "I understand. I'll be careful." As they entered a large building that served as the central command hub, Lila realized just how advanced this civilization was. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing planetary data, star systems, and interstellar communication logs. Ryan gestured to one of the consoles. "We begin here. You will need to integrate your engineering systems with ours. Your work must be precise, but it must also anticipate variables that our systems cannot calculate." Lila took a deep breath. Her fingers hovered over the controls, feeling a thrill of excitement. She had faced difficult engineering challenges before, but this was unlike anything on Earth. The technology was advanced beyond human understanding, yet there was a logic to it that she could grasp if she applied herself fully. As she worked, Ryan observed quietly, occasionally giving pointers. His calm demeanor helped her focus, and she found herself adapting quickly. He respected her methods even when they differed from his own protocols. "You are efficient," Ryan said after a while. "I did not expect such speed combined with accuracy." Lila smiled faintly. "I've learned to improvise. On Earth, things don't always go according to plan. You have to think fast. Ryan inclined his head. I see. That quality may be what saves us. Despite the professional atmosphere, Lila could feel a subtle tension in their interactions. Ryan's attention was always on her when she worked, his eyes observing her movements and reactions. She reminded herself that she was married to Mark, that she had made a promise, and that any personal feelings she might sense were irrelevant. Yet human instincts are not so easily dismissed. She felt a strange warmth in his presence, a sense of comfort during moments of stress. The day passed quickly, filled with calculations, system adjustments, and testing. By evening, the city outside glowed in vibrant shades of blue and violet, casting a serene light over the command hub. Lila paused to stretch and looked at Ryan. You make this look easy, she said, genuinely impressed. He gave a faint smile, almost imperceptible. Experience teaches patience, but your skill is remarkable. I trust you more than most from my own world. Lila nodded, feeling both pride and a hint of something she didn't fully understand. She had never been praised like this before, not in such a sincere, thoughtful way. But she reminded herself of her priorities. Mark, their life together. The promise she had made. She could admire Ryan's skill without allowing herself to cross any boundaries. Meanwhile, on Earth, Mark could not shake a growing sense of unease. He monitored Lila's mission from a secure facility, watching the live feed of her work and noting every interaction with Ryan. Though there was nothing inappropriate, the closeness and the admiration in Ryan's eyes made Mark uneasy. He trusted Lila completely, but even trust could be tested when faced with uncertainty and distance. Back on the alien planet, Lila and Ryan were interrupted by a sudden alarm. Red lights flashed across the room, accompanied by a low warning hum. A holographic display showed multiple breaches in the city's security perimeter. An unknown faction is attempting to override our systems, Ryan explained. They could destabilize not only this city but the entire planet if left unchecked. Lila's pulse quickened. What do we do? We must act quickly, Ryan said. I will handle the security protocols, but your work on the engineering systems will be critical to prevent a cascade failure. We need to integrate human improvisation with alien logic. Working side by side, Lila and Ryan coordinated their efforts. Her hands moved rapidly over the console, adjusting parameters, rerouting power, and stabilizing the system. Ryan's knowledge of his technology complemented her human intuition perfectly. Together, they formed a seamless team. The minutes stretched, tense and demanding. Lila's mind focused entirely on the task, yet she was acutely aware of Ryan beside her. There was no room for doubt, no room for distraction. Every decision mattered. Finally, with a few final commands, the alarms ceased. The breach had been contained, the system stabilized. Lila leaned back, exhaling sharply, exhausted but exhilarated. You were remarkable, Ryan said quietly, his tone free of the usual formality. I could not have done this without your input. Lila smiled, feeling a mix of relief and pride. We made a good team, she said simply. Ryan nodded, though he did not elaborate. There was a moment of silence, a calm that felt heavier than the crisis itself. Lila reminded herself of Mark, picturing his steady eyes and quiet reassurance. She could not let herself linger on any thoughts that might confuse her feelings. The next few days passed in a similar rhythm. Lila worked tirelessly, learning more about the alien systems, adapting her engineering knowledge, and contributing to the safety of the planet. Each success brought a quiet satisfaction, and each challenge strengthened her confidence. Yet, despite the professional intensity, small moments of personal connection emerged. Ryan occasionally asked her opinions on matters unrelated to work, about human culture, emotions, and philosophies. Lila answered carefully, sharing insights without revealing anything that might be considered personal beyond what was appropriate. She found these conversations stimulating. They reminded her that intelligence and curiosity could bridge worlds, even if hearts remained cautious. One evening, as they observed the city from a high observation platform, Ryan spoke softly. You see our people moving in harmony. Their systems are precise, but they are not perfect. Even perfection requires adaptability, just as your human solutions have shown. Lila nodded, gazing at the bustling city below. I think that's what makes humans special. We adapt, we survive. We find solutions even when the rules don't fit. Ryan regarded her quietly. Perhaps that is why you were chosen. Your perspective is unique, valuable, and necessary. Lila felt a flutter of pride and unease. She appreciated the acknowledgement, but it also reminded her of the emotional tension simmering beneath the surface. She was here to save lives, to protect both her world and Ryan's, not to navigate feelings she could not act upon. As she returned to her quarters that night, Lila reflected on everything that had happened. She had faced danger, solved complex problems, and worked closely with an alien whose intellect matched or even surpassed her own. She had survived crises that could have ended in disaster, and through it all she had maintained her loyalty to Mark, her love and trust intact. Yet she could not deny the complexity of the human heart. Attraction, admiration, respect. They all interwove in ways that were difficult to control. She resolved to focus on the mission, to let nothing distract her from her duty. Mark's face came to mind, his unwavering belief in her abilities and his quiet strength. She drew strength from that memory, reminding herself that no matter the challenges ahead, her life, her love, and her mission were intertwined, and each demanded her full attention. The night ended with a deep sense of purpose. Lila knew that the days ahead would test her skills, her intellect, and her heart. But she was ready. Whatever challenges awaited, she would face them with courage, ingenuity, and unwavering determination. And somewhere far away, Mark continued to watch, quietly reassured that his wife's heart and loyalty were unshakable even as he worried about the complexities of the world she now navigated. The alien planet was alive with movement and energy as Lila stepped out of the command hub. The twin suns cast long shadows across the city, painting the streets in shades of gold and violet. Despite the beauty, a lingering unease hung in the air. The breach they had prevented earlier was only one of many threats, and Lila knew that danger could strike again at any moment. Ryan walked beside her, guiding her through narrow alleys and expansive plazas alike. His presence was calm and steady, a silent reassurance in the midst of the alien city's complexity. Lila admired his patience, the way he moved with purpose yet never rushed, and how he seemed to notice every detail without a word. It was easy to see why he held such a high position in his world. Our sensors indicate unusual activity near the northern sector, Ryan said, his voice low but precise. It could be a coordinated attack. We must investigate immediately. Lila's pulse quickened not from fear but from the thrill of facing a new challenge. Lead the way, she said. As they moved toward the northern sector, the city's architecture became more intricate. Towers twisted toward the sky in elegant spirals, bridges connected floating platforms, and streams of soft, glowing energy flowed through the streets like rivers of light. Lila marveled at the alien engineering, but she forced herself to focus. Lives were at stake. When they arrived, they found the source of the disturbance, a group of rogue engineers attempting to override critical systems in the city. Their intentions were clear. They sought to destabilize the city's infrastructure and create chaos. Lila and Ryan immediately sprang into action. You focus on the main control panel, Ryan instructed. I will manage the perimeter and contain them. Synchronize your commands with mine and we can neutralize the threat efficiently. Lila nodded and approached the console. Her hands moved quickly, entering commands and rerouting energy flows. The interface was complex, but she adapted swiftly, applying human logic to alien systems in ways even Ryan had not anticipated. The rogue engineers noticed her actions and attempted to interfere, sending counter-signals and digital traps. Lila's mind raced, but she remained composed. She used a combination of strategy and intuition, bypassing their defenses and stabilizing the system. Ryan, meanwhile, moved with precision among the attackers, neutralizing their equipment without causing harm. His movements were calculated, efficient, and graceful. Lila couldn't help but admire his skill, even as her focus remained on the task at hand. Minutes stretched into tense moments as the situation escalated. The energy flowing through the city flickered dangerously, and Lila felt a surge of urgency. Almost there, she muttered under her breath, adjusting the final parameters. With a decisive command, the system stabilized. The rogue engineers' attempts were thwarted, and the city's infrastructure returned to normal. Lila leaned back, breathing heavily, but feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. Ryan approached her, his expression calm but serious. You handled that with remarkable efficiency. Your human perspective saved us valuable time and prevented potential disaster. Lila smiled, a mix of relief and pride washing over her. We make a good team, she said softly. Despite the professional success, an unspoken tension lingered between them. Lila reminded herself constantly of Mark, picturing his steady, reassuring presence. She could admire Ryan's skill, respect his intelligence, and even feel a subtle connection, but her heart belonged to her husband. That evening, Lila found herself alone on a balcony overlooking the city. The twin suns were setting, casting a serene glow across the skyline. She took a deep breath, trying to calm the whirlwind of emotions inside her. Ryan appeared silently beside her. "The day has been challenging," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "You performed admirably." "Thank you," Lila replied, keeping her tone neutral. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance," he nodded, a faint smile appearing. "Guidance is only effective when the other party is capable." "You have proven yourself more than capable, Lila." For a moment they stood in silence, watching the city below. Lila felt the pull of admiration and respect, but she held it at a distance. Her thoughts were with Mark, and she reminded herself that her loyalty and love for him were unwavering. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Mark's unease had grown. He had monitored Lila's progress, seen her interactions with Ryan, and witnessed her successes. And yet, despite his trust in her, he could not ignore the subtle closeness he observed. His mind raced with questions, but he refused to jump to conclusions. Instead, he focused on understanding the situation fully, preparing for the moment he might have to confront it. The next day brought new challenges. Lila and Ryan were called to inspect the city's energy core, a massive structure responsible for powering the entire metropolis. A series of anomalies had been detected, and if left unresolved, they could disrupt life across the planet. As they entered the core, the scale of the machinery struck Lila. Towering conduits of glowing energy stretched into the ceiling, and the hum of power was almost deafening. She felt a thrill of awe and responsibility. This was bigger than anything she had ever faced on Earth. Ryan guided her to the central console. "You will need to calibrate the human interface to stabilize the energy flow. I will monitor the core systems and provide real-time feedback." Lila nodded and began her work. Her hands moved deftly over the controls, adjusting frequencies, rerouting flows, and correcting imbalances. The human logic she applied complemented Ryan's alien precision, creating a synergy that was both effective and efficient. As they worked, a sudden tremor shook the structure. Warning lights flashed, and the hum of the core grew louder, more erratic. Lila's heart pounded, but she remained focused. "We can stabilize this," she said firmly, determination burning in her eyes. Ryan's voice was calm, almost reassuring. "Trust your instincts, Lila. You are capable." Working together, they managed to stabilize the core, preventing a catastrophic failure. Lila exhaled deeply, feeling both relief and pride. Ryan's eyes met hers briefly, and there was a moment of mutual acknowledgement. Respect, admiration, and trust intertwined. After the incident, Lila retired to her quarters, exhausted but fulfilled. She reflected on the events of the past days, the challenges, the teamwork, and the lessons learned. She had faced danger, solved complex problems, and maintained her integrity and loyalty. Yet she also realized that human emotions were complicated. Respect, admiration, and subtle connection could exist without crossing the boundaries of love and commitment. She thought of Mark, imagining his calm presence and unwavering trust. That thought grounded her, reminding her that no matter the challenges she faced on this alien world, her heart remained firmly with him. As night fell, the alien city shimmered with lights that seemed to dance like stars. Lila knew that the days ahead would bring new tests of skill, courage, and loyalty. But she was ready. With determination, intelligence, and trust in her own abilities, she would face whatever came next, protecting lives, navigating alien complexities, and honoring the love she held for her husband. The city was quiet that morning, but the calm was deceptive. Lila sensed tension in the air, a subtle vibration that only came from experience. Something was about to happen, something she needed to be ready for. Ryan walked beside her, moving with the same quiet precision as always. His eyes scanned the streets, noting anomalies that Lila might have missed. She trusted his judgment completely, but a part of her couldn't stop thinking about Mark. thousands of light years away, unaware of what they were about to face. "Ryan, do you sense anything unusual?" Lila asked, her voice calm but alert. "Possibly," he replied. "Our previous incident may have triggered hidden factions. We must proceed with caution." They entered the central plaza, a place of significance for the alien society. Towering statues and flowing energy streams created an aura of reverence, but today it felt tense, almost oppressive. The citizens moved carefully, their expressions wary, sensing something amiss. Suddenly, alarms echoed across the city, red lights flashing. A fleet of unauthorized drones emerged from the outskirts, moving with precision toward the heart of the city. Lila's pulse quickened. This was no random occurrence, it was a coordinated attack. "We need to act immediately," Ryan said. "You will handle the energy shields. I will manage the perimeter defenses. Synchronize with me." Lila nodded, rushing to the control panel. Her hands moved swiftly, rerouting power to the shields and reinforcing weak points. The drones were fast, intelligent, and relentless, but Lila's quick thinking kept them at bay. Ryan moved among the defenses, disabling drones before they could cause harm. His skill was extraordinary, and Lila realized that their combined efforts were the only thing keeping the city safe. She admired his precision and calm under pressure, but she reminded herself constantly she belonged to Mark. The thought of him grounded her, giving her clarity and focus amidst the chaos. Minutes felt like hours as the battle unfolded. The drones adapted, forcing Lila and Ryan to continuously adjust strategies. She relied on her human intuition, improvising solutions that Ryan's calculations had not predicted. Together, they created a dynamic defense that repelled the attack. Finally, the last drone fell from the sky, and silence returned to the city. Lila leaned against the control panel, exhausted but exhilarated. "You performed remarkably," Ryan said quietly, his tone sincere. "Without your input, the city would have suffered severe damage." Lila smiled faintly. "We made a good team." Even as they celebrated the victory, a new concern arose. Surveillance data indicated that the attacks were not random. They were orchestrated by a faction that sought to challenge the Interstellar Alliance. Lila realized that the threat was far from over. Later that evening, Lila received a secure communication from Earth. Mark's face appeared on the screen, his expression a mix of concern and determination. "Lila, we need to talk," he said. "I've been monitoring your mission and I want to understand what's happening." Lila's heart skipped a beat. She had expected this moment eventually, but the sight of his face, so far away yet so real, brought a rush of emotions she hadn't anticipated. "Mark, it's complicated," she said softly, "but I promise nothing has happened that would betray our trust." "I know you," Mark said, his voice steady, "but I need to see for myself." "I'm coming to the planet. I need to be there." Lila's stomach tightened. She had anticipated challenges with alien technology and political threats, but she hadn't expected Mark's arrival in person. It could complicate everything, yet she also felt a surge of relief. Seeing him would remind her of why she was fighting and for whom. The next day, Mark arrived. The shuttle touched down in the plaza, and Lila felt her heart race. She ran to him, relief and love flooding her chest. "Mark," she said, embracing him tightly. "I'm here," he said, holding her firmly. "Tell me everything." Ryan observed silently, giving them space. He understood the depth of human relationships, even if his own culture did not experience them in the same way. There was a subtle respect in his eyes, an acknowledgement that Lila's loyalty was unwavering. As they spoke, the city's alert sounded again. Another faction had activated systems designed to destabilize key areas. Lila, Mark, and Ryan moved quickly, forming a united front. Mark's military expertise complemented Lila's engineering skills and Ryan's knowledge of alien systems. Together, they created a plan to neutralize the threat before it could escalate. The trio worked seamlessly. Lila directed energy flows, Mark organized defensive strategies, and Ryan managed the technological systems. Their combined efforts were precise and effective, a testament to the power of human courage, intelligence, and adaptability. During a brief lull, Mark approached Lila. "I saw you working with Ryan," he said softly. "I want you to know I trust you." But it wasn't easy watching from afar. Lila took his hands, looking into his eyes. "Mark, nothing has happened. You are my life. My work, this mission, it's important, but you are my heart. I promise, Mark nodded, visibly relieved. The tension between them eased, replaced by mutual trust and understanding. Lila felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had faced danger, complex challenges, and emotional turmoil. Yet she remained committed to both her mission and her marriage. Their attention returned to the city. The rogue faction was attempting to manipulate the central energy system again, this time more aggressively. Lila's mind raced, analyzing patterns and predicting outcomes. She coordinated with Ryan and Mark, each command precise and deliberate. Finally, with a series of calculated adjustments, the energy system stabilized. The city's lights returned to their serene glow and the threat was neutralized. Citizens emerged cautiously, observing the trio with a mixture of awe and gratitude. Ryan turned to Lila and Mark. The threat has been contained. Your cooperation has prevented disaster. I am impressed by the strength and adaptability of humanity. Lila smiled, exhausted but satisfied. We did it together. Mark placed a hand on her shoulder. I knew you were capable, Lila, but seeing you here in person working alongside Ryan, I understand even more now. You are remarkable. For a moment, the three of them stood in silence, looking out over the city. There was respect, gratitude, and an unspoken acknowledgement of the challenges they had overcome. The mission had tested their skills, their courage, and their emotions. Yet through it all they had succeeded, through trust, cooperation, and unwavering determination. That night, Lila and Mark walked through the quiet streets, hand in hand. The twin suns had set, leaving the city bathed in the gentle glow of alien lights. I'm proud of you, Mark said softly. Not just for what you've done, but for who you are. You've faced challenges I could never imagine, and you've stayed true to yourself. And to us, Lila smiled, squeezing his hand. I couldn't have done it without you either. Your trust and belief in me is what keeps me grounded, even in the most difficult moments. Meanwhile, Ryan observed from a distance, understanding that human bonds were a powerful force, one that even advanced alien civilizations could not replicate. He felt a quiet admiration for their strength and loyalty, recognizing that humanity's greatest power was not just technology or strategy, but heart. As Lila and Mark returned to their quarters, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The days ahead would bring more challenges, political intrigue, technological threats, and unpredictable dangers, but she was ready. Together, with Mark by her side and Ryan as an ally, she knew they could face whatever came next. The city slept under the twin suns' faint glow, a silent testament to the bravery, intelligence, and heart of those who protected it. And Lila, standing between her love for Mark and her duty to the mission, knew that no matter how complex the path became, she would navigate it with courage, wisdom, and unwavering loyalty. The morning on the alien planet was calm, almost peaceful, a stark contrast to the chaos of the previous days. Lila stood at the observation platform, watching the city below. Citizens moved about their routines, unaware of how close they had come to disaster. For Lila, the weight of responsibility still lingered, but she felt a sense of quiet satisfaction. She had faced incredible challenges, navigated complex alien systems, and yet her loyalty to Mark remained unwavering. Mark approached her, his steps quiet on the platform. You've done more than anyone could have imagined, he said softly. I've watched you work, I've seen you face danger, and I admire your strength. Lila turned to him, a smile softening her features. I couldn't have done it without your trust, Mark. You gave me confidence even when I doubted myself. He took her hand, holding it gently. And you've proven that humans are capable of amazing things even in worlds far from home. Before Lila could respond, Ryan appeared beside them. His presence was calm and authoritative, yet there was a subtle respect in his eyes for both Lila and Mark. The city is stable, he said. The rogue factions have been neutralized and the energy systems fully restored. Your teamwork has prevented catastrophe. Mark nodded, grateful for Ryan's competence and professionalism. We couldn't have done it without you, he said sincerely. Ryan inclined his head. Perhaps, but it was human adaptability combined with collaboration that made the difference. Your species possesses a unique combination of courage, intuition, and determination. Lila felt a surge of pride. She had trained, worked tirelessly, and faced countless obstacles, yet this acknowledgement meant more than she expected. It was a reminder that humans, with their flaws and unpredictability, could make a profound impact, even on civilizations far advanced beyond Earth. As the day progressed, the three of them worked to ensure the city's systems were fully secure. Lila adjusted engineering protocols, Mark reviewed defensive strategies, and Ryan coordinated monitoring and surveillance. Despite the intensity of the work, there was a sense of accomplishment and unity. They functioned as a single team, blending human ingenuity with alien precision. Later, Lila found a quiet moment to speak with Mark privately. "I've faced challenges I never imagined," she said. "Danger, uncertainty, and complex emotions. But throughout it all, I realized something important. No matter where I am, no matter the world or the threat, my heart belongs to you." Mark smiled, relief and affection in his eyes. "And you've proven that love, trust, and loyalty are stronger than any obstacle. I'm proud of you, Lila. Not just for your skills, but for the person you are." Meanwhile, Ryan observed from a distance, understanding the depth of human emotion. He had worked with countless beings, but the bond between Lila and Mark was something remarkable. It was a force that influenced decisions, actions, and even outcomes. He realized that humans were extraordinary not just for their intellect, but for their hearts. As evening fell, the trio returned to the city's central plaza. Citizens gathered to celebrate the successful resolution of the crisis. Lights shimmered across the buildings, and energy streams glowed in patterns that reflected harmony and balance. Lila, Mark, and Ryan stood at the forefront, a symbol of cooperation between worlds. A delegation from the planet's leadership approached, offering gratitude and commendation. Lila and Mark received the highest honors for their bravery, intelligence, and dedication. Ryan's role was acknowledged as well, though his humility remained unchanged. During the ceremony, Lila felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The mission had tested her skills, her courage, and her emotions. She had faced danger, worked alongside an extraordinary alien being, and yet her loyalty and love for Mark had remained unshaken. She realized that true strength was not only in ability or intelligence, but in commitment, trust, and heart. After the celebration, Lila and Mark walked through the city's quiet streets, hand in hand. The twin suns had set, leaving a serene glow across the buildings. "I never imagined a mission like this," Lila said softly, "but I'm grateful for every challenge. It's shown me what humans are capable of, and how much I love you." Mark squeezed her hand gently. "I love you too, Lila. You've proven that humans are capable of incredible things, but more importantly, you've shown me the strength of your heart." Ryan approached, offering a rare smile. "You have both demonstrated qualities that transcend worlds: courage, intelligence, loyalty, and heart. These are the traits that ensure survival, peace, and progress. Humanity's role among civilizations is significant, and your actions have proven this." Lila and Mark exchanged a glance, feeling both pride and humility. Their journey had been extraordinary, filled with danger, discovery, and emotion. Yet through it all, they had stayed true to themselves and each other. As they prepared to depart the planet, Lila felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The mission was complete, the city safe, and the bonds between worlds strengthened. She had faced unknown challenges, navigated alien technology, and maintained her integrity and loyalty. Mark stood beside her, looking at the city one last time. "We've done something remarkable here," he said, "and we did it together." Lila nodded, taking his hand. "Together. Always." The shuttle lifted off smoothly, carrying them away from the alien planet. Lila gazed out the window, seeing the city shrink below them, bathed in the fading glow of the twin suns. She felt a mixture of nostalgia and satisfaction. This world had tested her in ways she could never have imagined, but she had emerged stronger, wiser, and more certain of her place in the universe, and in Mark's life. Ryan watched from the cabin, his expression thoughtful. "Your species possesses qualities that are rare and valuable," he said quietly. "Strength, courage, loyalty, and heart. These will ensure that humanity's role among civilizations is significant." Lila smiled faintly. "And we'll keep proving that, one mission at a time." Mark squeezed her hand, a silent affirmation of trust and love. Lila rested her head on his shoulder, feeling a deep sense of peace. They had faced danger, navigated complex challenges, and yet their bond had remained unshaken. As the stars stretched out before them, endless and infinite, Lila reflected on everything that had happened. She had faced unknown worlds, worked alongside extraordinary beings, and navigated complex emotions. Through it all, she had remained true to herself and to the man she loved. The universe was vast, full of challenges and opportunities, but Lila knew that as long as she and Mark were together, they could face anything. Human courage, intelligence, and heart were forces to be reckoned with, even among civilizations far advanced beyond Earth. And as the shuttle sailed through the starry expanse, carrying them toward new horizons, Lila felt a profound certainty. She had proven the strength of humanity, not just through her skills and intellect, but through her loyalty, courage, and love. She had faced the unknown and emerged stronger, and together with Mark, there was nothing they could not overcome. The journey ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humans were extraordinary, and love, trust, and courage could bridge any world, conquer any challenge, and light the way through the darkness of the unknown. Lila held Mark's hand firmly,
gazing out at the stars.
They were ready for whatever came next. Tai.